Before we start, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also activate the bell icon so you get all the new updates. Let's get started. The drama begins with Vinji, a very talented girl who works in the field of voiceover, but she has a very strange illness that affects her entire life. As soon as she gets scared, she goes into a state of shock and eventually faints, waking up after 10 hours. One day, she is participating in a voiceover competition, and they ask her to comment on a specific clip that will appear in front of her on the screen. Suddenly, a horror clip is shown in front of her. She is shocked and faints. After she wakes up, she goes to meet her doctor who is following her case and asks him if there are other treatment options. He tells her that the only solution to her illness is to love and be loved so she can feel safe. Her friend decides to help her find the love of her life and takes her to a party for a famous actor. At the same time, she experiences a shock and loses consciousness. But our hero, who is a very successful businessman and a major film producer, saves her before she falls. However, something very strange happens to her, and she regains consciousness after just 10 minutes. Her doctor tells her that the person she met is the cure for her illness. But the problem is that she doesn't remember the person who helped her at all. All she remembers is that he was wearing a white suit. So when her friend looks at pictures of the people who were at the party, she finds that the actor's younger brother was also wearing a white suit. So he started thinking that he was the one who helped her and is the cure for her illness. At that time, Shiming is thinking about how he can convince his brother to work with him on his new film. He asks his secretary to gather information about his brother and what might make him want to work with him on his new film. He discovers that his brother is very fond of a voice actress and follows her on all social media platforms. So he goes to make an agreement with him to sign a contract. In return, he will have the voice actress he admires participate in the film. So she, of course, agrees and goes to meet the voice actress his brother admires, who turns out to be Fang Ying by coincidence. First, Fanji is not in agreement, but in the end, she agrees on the condition that she meets Shi. Shiming agrees and takes her to his house to meet him. Indeed, she meets him and starts telling him about her illness and the state she gets into when she experiences a shock, and she also tells him that he is the cure for her illness. Of course, he doesn't believe her and thinks she's an obsessed fan, so he leaves her and walks away. But luckily for her, she gets into the mind of Shai's mother, and she asks Shai's secretary to bring them together in any way possible. The next day, Shi's secretary goes to sign the contract with Fanji. Her friend tells him that they have another condition to sign the contract with him, and their condition is to bring Fanji closer to Shi. So the secretary decides to kill two birds with one stone, on one hand pleasing them, and on the other hand pleasing Shi's mother. He tells her that Shi's mother is looking for someone to take care of him, and offers her a job as a housekeeper to live with him in the same house. Of course, Fanji can't believe it and agrees immediately, since it's her only solution now. Indeed, she goes to sign a contract with his mother without even looking at it. And she gathers all her belongings and goes to Shi's house as she believes. But it turns out that this is actually Shuming's house, and his mother and his secretary tricked her to get closer to Shuming. And not only that, they have included a clause in the contract that she cannot terminate the contract before 2 months. Otherwise, she will have to pay a very large fine, so she is forced to accept the situation. So her friend tries to comfort her and tells her that since they are siblings, she will definitely meet Shi very often. As for Shimeng, his mother threatens him that if he kicks her out, she will post an embarrassing picture of him as a child on all social media, so he is forced to agree as well. He then starts making her regret the day she signed the contract by setting rules and regulations for her to follow. Like she is not allowed to raise her voice in the house and is not allowed to receive any guests. And of course, if she doesn't listen to him, she will have to pay a very large fine. Fanji tries to avoid him in every way and prefers to stay in her room without any issues. Suddenly she discovers that she left her hair removal cream in place of his shampoo and goes to tell him, but he doesn't give her any chance and slams the door in her face. The next day, he wakes up to find half of his hair on the bed beside him, and he goes crazy, almost ready to kill her. Especially when he sees her coming to apologize with a wig for him. But he barely restrains himself from committing murder and sends her a message with a fine of 10,000. But of course she doesn't care about the fine, and all that matters to her is that she will meet Shi. As soon as he sees her, he apologizes for not believing her when she told him about her condition. He also tells her that he asked a doctor who confirmed that such cases do exist. And he tells her that he will help her get treated in any way possible. He also gives her his jacket as she's heading home because it's cold. How wonderful and kind you are, and she can't believe it, and is very happy, so she goes to throw a party at Shah's house, which ends up bothering him. And he tells her that's another 5,000 fine for the disturbance. One day, she goes into the bathroom to start a live stream, because it's the only place where she's allowed to raise her voice. But suddenly Shimeng comes in and kicks her out of the bathroom completely. Out of fear, she quickly leaves and forgets her phone inside. And the live stream of Patwai is still running. Shimeng appears in the live stream taking a shower. When she remembers her phone, she goes back in to get it on. But something from Yu stops her. The next day, he decides that he needs to get her out of his house by any means. But he finds that she's like a ghost, unaffected by cockroaches or snakes. So he decides to play hardball with her, turning off all the lights to scare her. And indeed, she gets very scared and shocked, and then she faints. For the second time, she wakes up after just 10 minutes, thinking she recovered quickly because of Shimeng's jacket that he covered her with. The next day, when she tells her doctor, he suggests that his scent might make her feel safe. When he learns about this, he gives her his scarf so she can keep it with her and feel even more secure. At the same time, Shimeng feels guilty because he was the reason for her distress, and he starts to get closer to her and treats her kindly. But when he finds out that the scarf she has belongs to his brother, he becomes very jealous and wonders the secret of her love for his brother. Then, Fang Yi returns to her work, and by mistake, she enters a dark room where she is shocked and faints. Her friend calls Shi Yi to help her recover, but then Shiming arrives, takes her to the office, and tries to call an ambulance. However, Shi Yi arrives, and she recovers immediately, confirming that her condition improves with Shi Yi there. But actually, she only gets better in Shiming's presence. Later, Fang Yi discovers that she has started to love Shiming and has become infatuated, so she decides to lighten the mood with him a bit, and she goes to invite him to the cinema. He tells her that he has already watched the movie once before and won't watch it again. So she decides to book another movie and sends him a message that she's waiting for him. But when she enters the movie, she discovers it's a horror film. When Shi Yi finds out she went into a horror movie, he goes to her immediately, and as soon as he sees her, he hugs her. Mingwei arrives, sees them, gets jealous, and leaves. She asks why he ignored her message and missed the cinema. He says he was busy, has no time for nonsense, and leaves. She realizes he doesn't love her as she loves him and gets upset. Next day, she says only 2 days remain, and their contract period is about to end, and they need to settle their accounts and any penalties with each other. After they settle, it turns out that Fanji owes her money. She tells him she doesn't want them if he spends 24 hours with her. Of course, Shuming can't believe it and agrees. And indeed, they spend the day together and are very happy with each other. At the end of the day, Fanji surprises him with a birthday celebration. She celebrates, and then she tells him she has moved all her things out of his house, says goodbye, and leaves. They are miserable after the separation. Shiming decides to confess his love to her as he can no longer bear being apart from her. So he goes to tell her that he is celebrating. Taj is sitting with him at home, and honestly, he can't find anyone more suitable for this job than her. She looks at him with disdain and says, "Are you stupid or what?" and then leaves. Shuming is so miserable that he gathers his friends to get their advice on the matter. The first friend tells him that he should completely ignore her and play hard to get, and she will come back to him. The second friend suggests he should go to her in torn clothes and try to gain her sympathy, so she will come back to live with him. And the third one tells him to suddenly assault her and take responsibility. He tells them that he was wrong to ask for their help and gets up to leave. Afterward, he decides to confess his love to her directly without beating around the bush, but she refuses and leaves him because she knows he definitely won't accept seeing her with Shai every time he approaches her. Then Shi starts getting closer to her, sharing stories about his childhood and secrets. He tells her that when he was 10 years old, he discovered he was adopted and ran away from home with his younger brother Shiman. On that day, his brother was kidnapped, and his father went to save him but never returned, and since that day, he has been missing. At that time, Shimengjia is constantly thinking about why she rejected his love, so he has his secretary call her and tell her that Shimengjia had an accident and is in the hospital, and she goes to him immediately. When she arrives, she finds a patient in surgery whose condition looks very serious. She mistakes him for someone else and breaks down, crying as she confesses her love to him. And Mong is standing there hearing everything, so he approaches her and hugs her, confessing his love to her as well. After that, the two of them start dating. May God protect you and us from the trouble of two newly dating people who hold hands 24 hours a day. One day, she goes to talk to Dr. Fang about her illness, telling the doctor that ever since she fell and he saved her at the party, he has been her only hope for treatment. She is very surprised because he never met Fengji at the party at all. When he reviews the surveillance cameras, he discovers that it was Shi Meng who saved her at the party and is treating her illness. At that time, Shi starts to fall in love with Fengji, so he decides not to tell her the truth and uses her illness to get closer to her. Indeed, he does that, and not only does he exploit her illness, but he also hypnotizes her to get closer to her in front of Shi Ming. And Shi Meng doesn't understand anything about her illness. All he knows is that Shi helps Fengji regain consciousness when she faints. So they take Shi and tell him everything about her illness. and only he can treat her illness, he asks him to break up with her so she can continue her treatment with him. Shimang indeed decides to stay away from her because her health is the most important thing to him. So when she wakes up, he tells her that he knows everything about her illness, and she says it's not important to get treated. The important thing is to stay with you. So he tells her that he doesn't need her in his life anymore, leaves her. He goes to Shi, asking him to take care of her and help her get better. The next day, Meng's cousin, the Scorpion, arrives from her trip and sees them together at the company. She gets very upset that he moved on so quickly. She decides to block him on all social media platforms. One day, the Scorpion girl hears about Fangi's condition and decides to harm her. She asks her to help and try out the new virtual reality glasses her company produces, and she plays a horror movie for her. Fangi gets overwhelmed and enters a state, so Shimang takes her to his brother to help her recover, then leaves them together and walks away. The Scorpion girl takes a picture of them together and spreads a rumor that the famous actor is dating a voice actress. Literally, the world goes crazy because of Shi's fans, who start bullying, insulting, and threatening Fangi. So Shi asks her to move to his house to protect her from the obsessed fans. She immediately agrees so as not to cause any trouble for her friend she's staying with. The next day, Shi's secretary, who is very much in love with him and obsessed with him, comes to her, beats her, ties her up, and intends to kill her. But Shimang arrives just in time and saves her. He also tells the obsessed girl that Feng Ji loves him, not Shi, but the girl doesn't believe them and threatens to set herself and them on fire, so Feng Ji pulls Meng and kisses him. At that moment, the police arrive and arrest the girl. After that, she sticks to Meng. She tells him that she won't leave him again, even if he asks her to. They start dating again, and she moves back in with him. So of course his brother, seeing them happy, decides he needs to ruin their mood and make their lives miserable. He tells his brother that he will come to live with him in the house for a month. During this period, he is forbidden from getting close to Fanji, and if he can't make her fall in love with him during this month, he will leave them to be together. He agrees and moves into the house, becoming exactly like a dry piece of bread stuck in the throat, and although Fanji can't stand him, she takes advantage of his presence with them and tries to mend his relationship with his brother. And one day, Shimang accidentally finds out that his brother is adopted, and that the incident that happened in the past was due to his feeling of helplessness, nothing more, and that all these years he misunderstood because he thought his brother didn't love him and was trying to get rid of him, so he starts treating his brother well, but they both still blame each other for their father's disappearance. And one day Fanji goes out with Shi, and they almost have an accident, so Fanji is shocked and falls into a state he can't bring her out of. So he immediately takes her and tells him everything that happened since he met Fanji at the party and saved her. He also tells him that he treated her and that she feels safe with him, and he leaves them feeling very happy. Afterwards, she decides to meet his relationship with his brother, but they showed the way to quality time. So she takes him to the place where he was kidnapped as a child, hoping they might find any clue leading them to his father. When she goes to that place, she remembers that it is the same place where she was kidnapped as a child. She also remembers that there was a kidnapped boy with her, and that boy is him. They were trying to escape together, but she wasn't able to walk at all. So the boy tells her that he will get help and come back for her, and indeed he returns, but he doesn't find her. When she tells her doctor, he tells her that something specific happened in that place, which is the cause of her trauma. She remembers the man who kidnapped her standing with someone, asking him to return his son. It turns out that the man who kidnapped them is Sherman's uncle. They pretend to be enemies, and he takes Shumeng's company and expels him. To gain more trust from their uncle, Shumeng decides to disappear for a while, and she asks Fanji to pretend to be his fiancé so that Shumeng will reappear. Fanji, of course, agrees. On the day of the engagement, Shumeng actually shows up and takes Fanji. Their uncle becomes convinced that their relationship is very bad and starts to reveal himself in front of Shi. At the same time, Fanji remembers that their uncle killed their father, which caused her trauma in the first place, so they report to the police and locate where their father was buried. Afterwards, Shimeng proposes marriage to Fanji. She tells him that she will agree on the condition that he mends his relationship with his brother. And indeed, he mends his relationship with his brother to the extent that she regrets having reconciled them in the first place. And with that, our drama comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, activate the notification bell so you receive all the latest updates. In the end, I would like to thank my lovely fans, who always encourage me with their beautiful comments and motivate me to continue providing this content for you. I love you all very much.